Mexico City is located in the region of Mexico and is the capital of its respective provinces and territories. Mexico City has around 9,330 kilometers of coastline, with a population of around 9.2 million people as of 2020. Mexico City is landlocked and is surrounded by ocean on both sides of its region, which has the potential to make Mexico City vulnerable to sea level rise in the future if the climate crisis continues on for a more extended period of time. Mexico is extremely vulnerable to hydrometeorological events and air pollution because of the climate crisis connected with the oceans and the atmosphere.
Due to Mexico City's increasing sea levels, the country is in danger since it is surrounded by water. The Gulf of Mexico and Pacific Ocean have both increased 6 to 8 inches in only the last 50 years. In Mexico, lots of damage is already done, and by now it would be extremely difficult, almost impossible to save sea levels. Even if during 2016 we dropped pollution in Mexico down to zero, the sea level would continue to rise since gases are already in the atmosphere, reflecting the heat back into the oceans. As a result, this causes the seawater to expand because of how water expands when heated and contracts when cooled. Another challenge is skyrocketing populations. Thanks to a recent population increase in Mexico City, pollution has also skyrocketed. This causes ocean acidification because of the more fossil fuels being burned. Ocean acidification is a serious issue because it causes major harm to sea life, especially coral reefs, which are home to several marine animals. Lack of marine life is also an issue because it can be a necessary food source for many land animals, including humans working in fisheries. This causes a harmful and continuous cycle, which is why the Mexican government needs to act more on ocean acidification and climate change.
Some actions that Mexico City is implementing are the EDF, Environmental Defense Fund Group's funds to reform the city's fishing industry. Another group that is working to help with Mexico City is called Senapred, aimed at helping Mexico City's wildlife. Together, both of these groups are aimed to help Mexico City combat its heavy air pollution, both on a local level and regionally. There are 5 green goals that Mexico is trying to accomplish with the groups within this city. One of the first goals is to revamp transportation from gas-guzzling buses to low-emission public transportation. For years, the majority of pollution has come from cars within the city. With the introduction of the pro-air movement by the government in the 90s, the normal bus has been replaced with the fuel-efficient Metro bus and the Ecobiki bikes. On top of all of that, the Mexican government has also installed no-drive days, in which certain cars with certain makes and models are not allowed to drive. The second goal that the city is trying to achieve is with air quality forecasting. The city is located in a valley that makes it physically impossible to rid the air completely of air pollutants, which continues to linger even with the green initiatives because of nanoparticles in the air that contain CO2. Nanoparticles in the air can get lodged in your lungs, which can cause long-term health effects. Due to this, the air quality forecasting is based on measuring the amount of dangerous nanoparticles in the air so that the city's many industries can plan their day accordingly. The third goal is eco-friendly art. This sort of explains itself. Young artists in the city are being hired by Mexico City's government to paint murals with air purifying paint to raise awareness about the air quality in Mexico City. The Absolute Street Trees project, hired by Mexico City's Anónimo agency in 2019, painted 3 murals about it. The fourth goal is a city-wide solar panel integration into buildings and the like. Ciudad Solar, Solar City, is a city-wide project to make the city's power partially or completely solar. It aims to harness at least 350 megawatts of power by 2024. It was launched in 2019 and so far has cost 8 billion pesos, or $414 million, to make the city's energy renewable. The city has also installed many solar heaters and panels under this initiative and on many public and private buildings. It has been mostly successful, and it is continuing by aiming to take out 20 million tons of CO2 over the next 5 years. The fifth and final goal are clean outdoor spaces. The city is expanding the amount of greenery available in the city that is open to the public. Green spaces are also needed to improve the air quality and vegetation located in the city, as the majority of the environment has mostly been urbanized for human development. A great example of a recently green space would be the Parque Ecológico Coatlahuac in Mexico City, one of the biggest and most successful revitalization projects in Mexico City. Once a great garbage dump, through expert analysis by scientists and engineers, they turned a once fat and polluted garbage dump into a 358-acre park, costing over 250 million pesos, or $11.4 million, built in large part with recycled materials and the dump itself. Today, 2 more similar parks are being built as a result of the success of the first. Some have already dubbed it the new Chapultepec.
To conclude this all, the Mexican government needs to take more action overall towards climate change and the sea level changes. There are a few ways they could do this, and some ways are by creating more restrictions and relief organizations. Mexico City itself is a thriving city, eager to bring its innovations and ecological goals worldwide as it transforms itself from polluted and struggling to an example of an icon of sustainability.